Nice discreet ending to our brand new intro. I might need to turn the lightning down. What do you think, guys? I love the new intro. Derek, baby, that's for you, man. It's been a long time coming. Shall we see it again? I think we should see it again. Oh, I love that ending. That's great. Buy us a coffee on buymeacoffee.com. Good news, folks. Buymeacoffee.com have got their act together and they have now shortened their URL. So instead of typing buymeacoffee.com/true crime metrics, you can just type coff, that's COFF.ee/true crime metrics. How great is that? It is quite long to type out, so I'm happy that they've done that. I love buymeacoffee.com. It is, of all the platforms we use, Discord, the other one, Patreon, and just buy me a coffee. It just feels right. People love Patreon, I get it, but the interface for the admin, it's just not, it's clunky. That's what it is. It's lovably clunky. Hello, Clarissa, Michelle, John Duncan, Amy A, Nicole E, Mary A. Any relation? And My Lush Life and Colleen, so good to see you guys. We're going to be continuing on with our Chandler Halderson breeze through, just a little holiday weekend breeze through, as it's the anniversary. What are we doing? I do have some things prepared. Look at me, all polished. So it's a local video. Bear with us, guys. Bear with us. What is going on? Because the software did just... there we go. There we go. There we go. So I thought we'd just start with the defense opening statement. It's only 12 minutes long. You usually get an hour, right? I mean, the fucking prosecution opened, I think, 90 minutes. Very thorough. Of course, bless them. The attorneys for Chandler Halderson really didn't have much to go with, did they? So let's just check that out briefly. Set the scene. Set the scene. Let me know if we got audio.
Chandler Halderson did not murder his parents. He is not guilty of those crimes. Chandler Halderson is 20.
Yes, she just said Chandler Halderson. She's a little nervous, and even though it's 12 minutes, you can tell that she's really trying to space out the sentences. Let's hear it again. Holy moly. Amy says, starting off serving... Oh, what did she say? We have to read it because it was 11 cups. 11 cups. Lucky number 11. Well done, Amy. Well done. Amy says, starting off serving the coffees for the night. Buy Metrix a coffee, y'all. Yeah, we should get that lightning bolt. Thank you so much, Amy. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful.
Chandler Halderson did not murder his parents. He is not guilty of those crimes. Chandler Halderson is 23 years old, young man. He likes to play video games, play with his dogs, hang out with his girlfriend. And he lived peacefully in his parents' home. He was just a normal kid. He is a normal kid. So what did happen?
Okay, I have, sorry to pause this so soon in, but I found, get this guys, anyone who was watching last night's stream will know my theory about his swim team sweater hoodie, right? Which we may revisit again soon, but I found a bunch of old Facebook pictures of Chandler Halderson, right? And he's weird looking. You can tell there's something wrong even before all this. I mean, the old pictures make him look normal now. Wait until you see this. I gotta bring it up. What do I search for? Oh, I sent the link to somebody earlier. I'll copy it from there. Oh no, shit. This is from our good friend Schmieda's Pictures. What is wrong with this thing? Motherfucker. It's not letting me change anything. Why is that? God damn it. All right, I'll let this play.
Commissioner, next I have Mr. Halderson, Chandler Halderson.
We'll call the state of Wisconsin versus Chandler Halderson. That's 21 CF 1568 appearances.
Andrea Raymond for the state of Wisconsin.
Mr. Halderson appears personally in custody with attorney Catherine Dorrell. Good afternoon.
Afternoon. And Mr. Halderson, if you could just give us a thumbs up so we know that you can hear everything okay. All right, he's given a thumbs up. So we are scheduled for an initial appeal.
This is not the video, and the software is freaking out. Sorry.
What happened to the Haldersons? What happened in that Haldersons' home? Remember those questions. They won't be answered at the end of this trial.
Oh, and thank you so much, Nicole, for the coffee. I just saw that come in.
Remember those questions at the end of this trial when you have to decide whether the state has proven to you that Chandler Halderson killed his parents, because they simply don't know what happened. They just told you what they think happened. We heard a lot of detail of the before and a lot of detail of the after. But one or two simple sentences, and then he killed his parents. The evidence will show you that there is a gap of evidence when it comes to that time frame. And your job is to listen to this evidence as jurors. Listen to the evidence from the perspective of a juror, not from the perspective of a story corroborator, corroborating the state's story. The role of being a juror is a different role than being a person. And that may sound strange, but it is. I think of when I went to law school way back in 1991, and there's a big part of me that feels I went into law school a human being who lived my life feeling things emotionally and relating to things emotionally. And I left law school a really different person. I learned how to be very logical, to apply facts, first to assemble facts, and then to apply these facts to the law as I learned it. Facts, laws, and rules, plus logic. That's your role here as a juror. Don't assume anything. Assumption is the mother of all mistakes. The story that you just heard assumes that Chandler Halderson killed his parents. You cannot assume anything. Your job is to presume that Chandler Halderson is innocent because he today is under the benefit of the presumption of innocence. An assumption is reaching a conclusion without knowing all the information. A presumption is a principle that we all must follow. We must presume him innocent, and we must keep that presumption unless and until the state proves every element of every charge beyond a reasonable doubt. That's not easy. It's not easy in a high-profile case. It's not easy
going to be
in
pretty
a case
easy
where we all know we're going to see evidence that is disturbing.
Yeah, like the video of his mom and dad going into the house and never coming out apart from in little plastic bags. Like the neighbor's footage of the big fire on the hottest day of the year that lasted the whole night long. Or the odor of someone cooking a hog roast, or what they thought was a hog roast in the neighborhood. Yeah, I mean, the list goes on. It is a long list. The only difficult thing about this trial is going to be going through that massive amount of damning evidence. It's a long list.
But you must find a way, like I did in law school, to put your emotions, put your feelings aside, and use the logical part of who you are. Be a juror. Assemble the facts, know the law, and apply the logic without letting your feelings or emotions get in.
She's kind of being a little bit, because I went to law school, I know what you should do. But you probably don't know anything because you haven't been to law school like me. I mean, there's zero content here about, she said he didn't murder his parents. Okay, well, we got that from his plea. Did you do it? He said no, so we knew that already, lady.
The way. And for each of you, you might have a different way of doing that. But I'm asking you here today to dig deep and find out how that will work for you, so that you can presume my client innocent. Now, I'm not going to have a fancy PowerPoint here, and I'm probably not even going to talk very much longer. But as I comment to you on the evidence that you're going to see in this case, I want to highlight a couple of things. First of all, and the judge already indicated this in
What am I thinking about her hair, Michelle? I'm thinking she needs some friggin' Moroccan oil.
some of the preliminary instructions.
And a brush, a big one.
Lack of evidence is evidence just as much as any evidence that is presented to you in the courtroom. Look for what's missing. Look for alternate explanations. Because the second thing I want to tell you is that evidence of one thing is not necessarily evidence of another thing. One fact here could mean a different fact here, but it also could mean 3 or 4 other facts. So you have to avoid jumping to conclusions and really dig deep and look at what this all means.
Just to revisit that with you, Michelle, I'm thinking Afghan hound, right? Do you think this lady has a couple of Afghan hounds? Because it's basic, I mean, they have better hair, but it's basically very similar. Just check that out there, right? I mean, should we leave it up? Let's leave it up.
You're going to notice that many of the facts, many of the witnesses, aren't going to be hotly contested by the defense in this case. And that goes back to what I was just saying. 12, 18, 100 reasonable people can look at a certain situation and form a different conclusion. And when you're talking about a system where you need to be convinced beyond a reasonable doubt, you better make very sure that you're excluding all of the other things that these facts could mean. Because you just aren't
Like? You want to help us out?
You're going to know some about the before. You're going to know some about the after. But you're not going to know what happened in the Halderson's home.
Hey, I wish this damn notification thing would stay up for longer. Amy says, can we all please buy Metrix a coffee so he can keep conforming to all of our time zones and stay up? Well, I've just been having way too much sleep since I got back from Germany. We're back to 3 hours a night. I think we can do it. We're ready. Are you?
Who did it? What happened? How it went down? Whether it was intentional or not, which is an element of homicide. You're just not going to know. You're also going to not know how Bart and Krista would have reacted to these lies.
Dog-tanian. I thought you'd spelt D'Artagnan wrong for a second, but I see what you've done. I was thinking, where is that silent G?
That's never going to be explained to you. Why lying turns into murder, or how lying turns into murder. Be sure to look for
We did a pretty good job of explaining that one last night, lady. I mean, you should have been on our show.
what you're not told, because that's evidence just as much as any evidence is.
Which is ironic, because they are literally going to say nothing during this trial. They open, they close. There's like 2 objections. basically no cross-examinations, and they didn't call a single witness. Yeah, I'm glad we went to all that public expense and took up these 14 members of the public out of their lives to look at all what you did, you psycho.
I'm going to ask you to resist some things in this case as jurors. We already talked a little bit about proof beyond a reasonable doubt. What that means is you must resist guessing. You must resist speculation. You must resist storytelling. And only convict when it's proven, or if it's proven, which it won't be, beyond a reasonable doubt. I'm going to ask you to resist losing your objectivity. Objectivity may be hard for people in this case because of the graphic nature.
Is objectivity the same thing as my will to live?
Of what you've just been told or what you're going to see. But you need to resist losing that objectivity. Commit to being jurors, dispassionate, logical. Don't be swayed by fear.
What, like the fear of letting this freak back into the community, into the public domain, to do his bidding, whatever that might be? I wonder what he would have done if he'd have been set free. Do you think he'd have finally just... He's like, well, it's all come out now. Everyone knows that I got away with murder, but everyone knows that I'm a liar and a loser. Just a sap. Do you think he would have just moved state and finally gone and gotten a basic job? Just any job? Like, oh. Who was that? That was that kid, wasn't it? The kid in, the kid who killed his mother in California, but he was living in, was it Indiana? I think it was Indiana. And he drove from Indiana to fucking California. Killed his mother and came back. And when the cops proved that he had made that trip, he said, no, I didn't even go to see my mom. I went and drove that way. I drove 4,000 miles to pick up some weed from California. And they said, how much? And he said, well, about $100 worth. About 15 grams. Yeah, I invested about $1,500 in gas. Took 4 days out of my life for the longest drive ever to get $100 worth of weed, which I pretty much finished before I got back to Indiana.
And I ask you to resist any pressure you might feel to convict Mr. Halderson of murder in this case. It's a little unorthodox, but I'm going to tell you, at the end of this case, Attorney Vera and I may stand before you here and say, you know what? They did convict him of this, but what evidence do you have of murder? I like to talk about the Constitution, probably because I'm a defense lawyer. But I think as jurors, as people coming into the system who aren't dealing with this every day, like we are here in the courtroom, you have to remember how important the Constitution is, how important the presumption of innocence is for Mr. Halderson, and how important proof beyond a reasonable doubt is. It's the highest standard we have. And it was created and perseveres to this day for this very reason.
For the worst crime we have. Double murder, chop up your mum and dad.
when someone is on trial for
But don't be scared. Don't be scared. We can let him back into the community. He'll be good now.
the most serious crime possible,
I'll say.
and every little thing
Christina.
they do, every little lie they might have told is blown up and thrown against someone. That's when proof beyond a reasonable doubt matters. You jurors, not the sheriff's department, not Mr. Brown or Ms. Raymond or me or the judge, get to decide this case. Individually, you all get a vote. You all get to make your own decision. I simply ask that you remember your role as jurors, that you find a way to stay objective, that you look for the key questions, the key facts that aren't answered, and that you hold the government to this high burden of proof. If you do those things, if you can resist these things, you will reach the right conclusion. Chandler Halderson did not murder his parents.
All right. So she's not denying that he chopped them up and set their heads on fire, which is interesting. I suppose what they're ultimately going with is the best that they could possibly hope for is to get him off the murder charge, right? She's not exactly being explicit in saying it, but I think she's basically saying, okay, we concede that he chopped them up and disposed of them because how the fuck else would that have happened? But we don't know if he intentionally killed them. I mean, maybe when Bart was, firing up the green egg, he had to run down to the basement to get some fire lighters, tripped over the rifle, fell down, and shot himself in the back, right? And then when Krista got home, she went downstairs to organize some more of Chandler's childhood things, saw Bart, ran over to him, also tripped over the rifle, and shot herself in the back. And Chandler discovered this and thought, well, I could call the police and explain this horrific, horrible accident. But I think the better thing to do would be to chop them up into pieces with the tree loppers, hacksaws, and wood axes that we've got lying around the house. Then I'm going to have a big fire in our family living room. That'll probably get rid of their heads. And their arms and legs I'll just take down and discard in the river. And I'll also come up with this story about them going to the lake. Because it'd be really awkward to explain the horrible accident to police. Welcome back, Christina. Are you just getting here? Do you want to see our brand new Metrix intro that's so nice and polished? I love the lightning at the end. Yeah. So I found that video with Chandler's old pictures from Facebook. Is it this? Something's going on with the goddamn software and it won't let me change the link. Oh, how annoying. I know what I'll do. I'll download it and we'll look at it that way. I know that we're supposed to be looking at the doorbell cameras, and we'll get there, we'll get there. It's just so funny how he, you know, on the day that he was arrested, he's wearing exactly the same clothes. He's going around all the neighbors with this friendly, I'm not a threat, Midwestern wave. He's got this very characteristic Teletubby wave that he does to each address. I'm a normal Midwestern kid. But these pictures, I couldn't believe it. I mean, he looks even more psycho in these pictures than he does in the... Oh my God. What is going on with this software? Sorry for this wait, but this, you know, if I close the software, it's gonna lose the stream. So what do we do? Fuck. Oh man, I don't know. I think I'm going to have to close the software.
Commissioner, next I have Mr. Halderson, Chandler Halderson.
We'll call the state of Wisconsin versus Chandler Halderson. That's 21 CF 1568 appearances.
Andrea Raymond for the state of Wisconsin.
Mr. Halderson appears personally in custody with attorney Catherine Dorrell. Good afternoon.
Afternoon. And Mr. Halderson, if you could just give us a thumbs up so we know that you can hear everything okay. All right, he's given a thumbs up. So we are scheduled for an initial appearance. Attorney Dorrell, have you received a copy of the criminal complaint that was recently filed?
Yes, and we waive its reading.
And as far as an address, what should we use for Mr. Halderson for purposes of mail?
Likely the Dane County Jail, but the address on the complaint was his address before his arrest.
which of those you want us to use for purposes of mail. And is he eligible for public
Chandler
defender, or does he
Halderson
need to contact
did
your
not
office?
murder.
He
his
is eligible.
parents.
All right. Then, so it looks like there is a bail hearing earlier in the week. $10,000 cash bail and pretrial services was ordered. I will make a finding of probable cause for the charges in the criminal complaint, and we'll address bail. I should note that there was a public safety assessment that was done previously. That was for the bail hearing, just on the charge of false info on kidnapping, that recommended a signature bond. If anybody doesn't have a copy of that, we can make sure that you get that before you proceed with the bail arguments. All right, with that, Attorney Raymond, your position on bail.
Your Honor, first off, I hope I don't know if you've had a chance to read the criminal complaint. I realize it's quite lengthy, and it was filed right around the 1:30 time. I was hoping to kind of limit my comments for the privacy of the family and others involved, but I'm happy to speak more at length if Your Honor wishes. The state is asking, though, for $1 million.
Okay, so I'm going to have to close the software. So I think what that means is that I'm going to have to create a new stream, unfortunately. But I might be able to post the link into this chat, or you will be able to find it on the YouTube Metrix page. I can put the link on Discord if people are on Discord, but I mean the software's frozen, so sorry, but I guess that happens. It's never happened to me, but we're gonna have to do that. Okay, so we're gonna close this stream and start a new one with restarted software. Okay, but we're still early. You know, we started at 8. We're actually 21 minutes prior our regular programming time, so I guess it's all good. Yeah, please join us again on True Crime Metrix. Join us again on True Crime Metrix.